Well, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Virginia's for Realtors. I'm pleased to be joined today by the rapping realtor, Courtney Rollins Zawisa. Courtney, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I'm so excited to talk to you because, I've done a lot of openings on this show, and I have never done a one where the person indicated they are the rapping realtor. So we're going to have to dig into that quite a bit. But everybody knows that when we start off the podcast, I want to give people a sense of you, an idea of you, and kind of your what we call the origin story. So are you local to the Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads area, or kind of what's your situation? Where'd you grow up? How'd you get into business? All that good stuff.
Well, I've lived here 20 years, and they
Okay.
say you're a local after 7. So,
Ah,
yes, I am a local, and I
okay.
love it here. I love Virginia Beach. I'm super passionate about Virginia Beach. I think it's the greatest place in the world to live. We can see dolphins every single day of the year. I
Yep.
just saw a humpback whale on my walk this morning.
What?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And there's just tons of wildlife, and the people are great. People come here from all over the world because of the military. So it's very cultural. It's like a melting pot. The people are interesting. The places are interesting. The economy is great. It's one of the best places to start a business.
Yeah.
If you have an idea and you do a great job, you can be successful here in Virginia Beach. And I just love it. But I'm from about an hour from here in Pocosa, Virginia.
Okay.
And my parents got divorced. I went to live with my dad in Georgia. I went to high school in Georgia,
Wow.
Albany, Georgia, and I went to the University of Georgia and got a degree in broadcast news and also a degree in speech communication. So I used to be a news girl. I've been a radio DJ. I own
Awesome.
my own advertising agency. And now I do real estate, as well as I have my own property management company called Property Partners, because I believe the way to truly build wealth is to buy and hold real estate. And it's really
Yeah.
cool because you can borrow someone else's money and have someone else pay your mortgage. And so really you can buy something with no money. And at the end of 30 years, or if you make extra payments, 15 or 20 years, you have this asset that's worth hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you can do it with none of your own money. So I love that that in this country we have that opportunity to build wealth with no money, especially if you're in the military and you have a VA loan. A lot of people think they can only use their VA loan once, and that's not true. You can use it again and again as long as you move there personally and occupy the property. So I'm just super excited about helping people build their wealth. People always call me to sell their house, and they'll interview usually between 2 and 4 realtors before they pick someone to sell their home. And they say, wow, you're the only realtor who told me not to sell and that I should keep it. Absolutely. 90% of the time, if it makes sense for someone, I'm telling them, do not sell this. Hold it, hold it, hold it. And I get lots of thank you bouquets and cakes and dinners, and stay at my house in Massanutten, and here stay on my boat, and lots of thank yous from people who took my advice and held on for 3, 4, 10, 20 or more years. I
Yeah.
won't say how long I've been doing this because I don't want to show my age, but over 20 years I've been doing this. And so I've made a lot of people happy and a lot of people a lot of money, and it's just the best job ever. But yes, I love Virginia Beach, and I'm very passionate because I believe in what I'm selling. I sell all over the state of Virginia, and we have team members all over the country. But my specialty is Hampton Roads, and I live in Virginia Beach at the oceanfront in Virginia Beach. So it's the best job. It's the best place to live. Even in the winter, it's freezing and beautiful here. Like I said, in the winter we have humpback whales in Virginia Beach. So cool.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. And it's so beautiful that you really are illustrating for your clients the importance and the capability of owning property long term.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the blessings that we have as realtors and loan officers is that we should be investing in real estate, and nobody
That's
should
right.
be arguing or fighting more for the potential
Right.
of real estate than us, because most agents and loan officers who invest on kind of their own product, they've seen it. And that's how a lot of people have made a lot of money over the years. And so being so passionate about it for your clients makes sense. And, I couldn't agree with you more on what you said about Virginia Beach as well. So being very passionate about the area just truly comes through. Now, your degrees coming from Georgia, what kind of made you decide to get into real estate? Because that wasn't wasn't a real estate degree that you had or anything like that.
Yes, I actually, at my advertising agency, I did a lot of advertising for realtors.
Ah,
And yes, and I became friends with one, and his name was David Williams.
okay.
David, the Master Key Williams. And David said, "Oh my gosh, you have to get into real estate. You would be so good at it." And I said, "Oh no, I don't want to be a realtor. No, nobody likes realtors." And he said, "That's why you need to do it, because you would be great at it. You would do the right thing, and you would treat people how you want to be treated." He actually paid for my real estate school, handed me the real estate book, and said, "You're doing this. I've already paid for it." Never wanted me to necessarily work with him or for him. I guess he was smart, right? But he really just did it for me. And I'll always be really thankful and grateful to David. But I started flipping houses. And the first house I ever flipped actually did not do a good job. I hired contractors. Oh, you hear that? It's the sound of
Yep, the
freedom.
jet's going over the top. Yeah.
Yeah. I hired contractors that made the first house I flipped look pretty, but things went wrong 6 months later, a year later, and the people that bought it would call me, and I would fix it, and I would fix everything. And my friends would say, "You're crazy. You sold that house. You don't have to fix that." And I said, "Well, I have to sleep at night. So yes,
Right.
I'm going to fix it." So I think I made 36,000 off my first flip. And that was, 25 years ago. So that would have been like 100 and something thousand
Wow.
today.
Okay.
I remember sitting at the closing table and I was shaking and nervous. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm about to make this amount of money." And so, but more than a third or half of that I actually put back into the house, fixing it, making it right. And so what happened and how I became an actual realtor is that they would tell their friends, "Hey, this girl, flipped this house for us and did a bad job, but she's still fixing it and she's really cool. Maybe she has one for you." So people would call me and I would flip houses and I would have someone to put into the house before it was even finished. But then I ran out of houses and the market changed, and somebody said, "Can you be my realtor? Can you help me find a house?" And I was like, "Well, actually, I can. I have my real estate license. I've only been using it for myself, but yes, I can do that." And then I got into real estate and helping people find houses. And I'm from this area. So the problem with me is that I know everything about everything in this area. I will try to talk you. I'm the biggest devil's advocate. I will talk you out of anything. I mean, if I say, "Hey, you should put an offer on this house," it's amazing because
Right.
I'm
Right.
very picky. And I just got voted, not voted, but I won top 9% of realtors, and that's based on your volume. And my friend said, "Well, I think you'd be 1%, but you tell so many people no. You say you need to keep your house as a rental, or just don't even buy this house. It's junk. So if you actually sold everything that people came to you with, you'd probably be in the top 1%. I don't know if that's true or not, but I just treat people how I would want to be treated.
Exactly. And regardless of whether where the rankings comes in, I mean, how many people have you kept out of a bad situation
Right,
by doing the right
right,
thing?
right.
And I just love that. I mean, I'm blessed that the most of the listeners of this show and most of the people I work with have the same heart. They have the best
Yeah.
interest of the client in mind. They don't want to see them make a mistake that's going to cost them money or a heartache down the line. But we are well aware there are loan officers and the realtors that don't have the client's best interest
Yeah.
at heart. So having that just a heart of gold to help clients, it just makes a huge difference. But what I really want to talk about when we come back is kind of how you started getting your name out there, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, but we'll be right back with Courtney. Well, welcome back, everyone. So, Courtney, you are getting your name out there as the person who has flipped the home and then taken care of the sellers when you didn't have to. And now more people are like, hey, I'd love for you to be able to help me and, buy, sell. So you kind of start making that transition from flipper to agent. So tell me about how that goes.
Well, it went great. I think the hardest part about being a real estate sometimes is dealing with other real estate agents.
Right?
It's just like any business, anything in the world. There's a lot of good people and a lot of bad people. And so unfortunately, it's the bad ones that stand out. But yeah, I mean, other than dealing with, people who sometimes tried to cover things up and hide things. Um, and going in dirty houses is not fun either.
Yeah.
I've been in, gosh, I don't know, some really dirty, really moldy houses, abandoned, vacant. And so that's really hard in real estate. I know I'm kind of going off track here, but at one point, I actually had to go to the doctor for mold poisoning. I
Oh,
didn't know
wow.
what it was, but I was sick all the time and I never get sick. And I was tested and there was like 20 different kinds of mold in me. And he said, "Do you live in a really old house?" I said, "No, I live in a new house and I'm very clean." And he said, "Well, do you go in other houses?" And I said, "Yes, honey, I'm a realtor." He goes, "Oh," he's like, "Yes, that explains it." Um, and actually, that's Dr. LaBelle on Lynn Haven Parkway. And he gave me all these little sprays and this protocol, and I got better from that. But that was really hard. Is one of the hardest things. Hazard of the job is going in homes that are dirty or moldy or just unsafe for a number of reasons.
Yeah, I completely understand that part. Now, when you being in the area and kind of doing the flipping side, what was kind of like the process for you to kind of go from, okay, I have this network of people who know me from flipping the houses, and then they'd like my assistance, but then to really start getting your name out there, what was that growth track like?
Um, I would say slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah.
Real estate. I don't have any idea what my numbers are. I don't have any idea how many houses I've sold. What's my, highest house? None of that stuff. I don't keep track of any of that. Other people know. They call me and they try to recruit me, and they're like, "Your numbers are great," and things like that just don't matter to me. Every day, I just try to help as many people as I possibly can. And it doesn't matter if they're buying $100,000 house or $1 million house. So I don't really know. I've never kept track of, I've just always treated people how I want to be treated.
Yeah.
And I do open houses a lot. I
Okay.
love open houses and actively working. Yes, the internet is nice. 80% of people go to the internet to start their home search. However, they end their home search inside of a home,
Right.
looking at a home. And it's just like in the car business, they say, get someone test driving the car. That's how you're going to sell it. They need to be in it, they need to feel it. And in real estate, you can be online as much as you want, but at the end of the day, you got to show the house.
Yeah.
So that's, I think a big key to my success is open houses. So many agents hate open houses. I don't know why. I think they're really fun. I always get someone to do it with me. And if no one comes, that's fine. I got my work done. I read a book. I visited with my friend. If someone comes and I make a connection, great. It just doesn't matter. It's all good. Whether someone came or not, my clients are seeing me on the internet holding open houses on Facebook and
Yeah.
Instagram, so they know that I'm hardworking. But I think the open houses and just word of mouth and referrals really helped me get to the next level in real estate. But again, I don't know what that level is. I do know our team won, we win every year, Gold Circle of Excellence Realtors. We won that again this year. So I guess we're selling a lot. But again, my team is 6 other people just like me with hearts just like mine. And one thing that makes us different is we have our own warehouse full of staging stuff. And
Nice. Okay.
so when you call us to list your house, instead of just listing an empty house, we can make it beautiful. And we've taken homes that 2 or 3 other realtors couldn't sell, and we staged them, and they've sold immediately. And there's no upfront cost for our staging. It's built into the price, and it can be paid for at closing. So no one ever says no to it. And it just, now the market's changed where we're back to staging. We've always been staging, even when you didn't need to stage a house to sell it. We get more money, for houses that were staged. And now the market has flipped back to a market that really could benefit from staging because there's a lot more inventory on the market now.
It's
So
sitting longer. Yeah. So
yeah.
let's unpack a couple things there. So first, I'd like to kind of go over, some open house tips and tactics. Now, you mentioned that when you're getting people in the door, has your approach changed over the years on what you're doing on open houses and how you've increased success from them?
Well, I went to Atlantic Sotheby's Realty a few years ago. And since I've gone there, I've had way more traffic at my open houses than other companies that I've been to before. But Sotheby's as a brand has been around since the 1700s.
Wow.
So they're one of the oldest companies in the world, period.
Yeah.
But they are phenomenal at marketing. And so I haven't done anything different, but I went there and they have a whole marketing department that will take my little old open house and advertise it all over the world. So I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing a great job. And
so they're getting
yeah,
traffic more so that might you didn't have necessarily before. So you're getting
that's right.
more people coming through. Okay.
Yeah.
And is there, let's say you're a new agent out there and that you obviously, a lot of people know we need to do open houses, and especially in the beginning. Would you say there are some open houses that are going to perform better? So are there certain characteristics about an open house that if I'm an agent and I know that in my office agents don't like doing open houses, but they know they need to, should I be looking for a specific type of price range or area? What are your thoughts on that?
Everyone has their niche of people they like to work with.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to work with people that are like you. So, for instance, I live at the ocean front. I love the ocean front. It's going to be way easier for me to hold an open house at one of my oceanfront listings because I'm just naturally passionate about it. As to where I love Chesapeake, I like to call it Chesapeake. I love Chesapeake, but I am just not going to be as excited as I am here. So I think selling what you believe in, and also those are your people. Oceanfront people are my people. They're my neighbors. They like the same things I like. So it's just going to be very natural. But that's not always, going to be you're not always going to have a listing in your neighborhood that you can
Right.
open. So you have to enjoy those when you have those. And when you don't, you just it's a numbers game. The more times you go fishing, the more likely you are to catch a fish. And the open house is the same thing.
I think open houses are definitely making a comeback. Now let's drill into a little bit about staging, because I assume you did not start off the career with a warehouse full of ready-made goods to stage. So tell me, because I think a lot of agents, I mean, staging is so important. I look at enough pictures online of houses that are not staged, and they've gone to like the virtual staging, but you can still tell it's virtually staged, right?
Yeah.
So the idea of how did you come up with like, all right, did you start storing it in your garage to start with? How did this go?
Well, let me say this now. No staging is better than virtual staging. because with virtual staging, people get there and then they're upset when they're there. And they're like, hold on, this isn't what I saw. This looked way better. And it's, they open the door, the place is empty, and it just doesn't start off well. They feel like they've been
Wow.
duped. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So we do not do virtual staging at all. If for some reason someone doesn't want staging, then we don't do staging. And no, back to my team, one of my teammates, Deborah Mundi, she actually came to our team and she was doing staging just for her clients. And she was amazing. So then she offered staging just for our team's clients. And so we just got more and more and more. And now she is doing staging for other agents as well at other companies. And she's phenomenal. Deborah Mundi. I can't remember the name of her staging company, but if anyone wants her number, they could contact me. She's fabulous.
Now, let me ask you a question. So again, did you start with like, all right, I'm going to have a living room, a bedroom? Like, how did you start with the idea of, okay, I'm going to stage this house. Now, how do I buy the furniture? Did you rent the furniture? Did you take it out of your house? How did that go?
No, we're always taking furniture and plants out of all of our own personal houses to go in staged homes. But no, like I said, Deb, she was a stager. She came with a few houses worth. Now it's over 30 houses worth of furniture that we have. So yeah, so she.
So, I mean, literally, like if I said, hey, I got a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, you're like, perfect. We're going to have this much furniture's going in, and then you'll be able to, take it from there.
Another thing we do is everything. We don't believe in staging downstairs and not upstairs, or doing just the living room and not the bedrooms. We're doing it all or nothing. If you want it staged and our name's going to go on it, we do the whole house and we do it beautifully, or we don't stage it. No virtual.
Yeah.
And it's been very, very successful for us, and people love it. And like I said, it doesn't cost them anything up front for the staging.
Now, did you personally buy $10,000 worth of furniture when you decided to kick this idea off? Or how did you get it going? I guess is really what I'm trying to understand is, because all right, I want to get into staging. And then
one of my teammates came to our team.
Already had it.
He was a stager. Yes.
Got it. Sorry.
She was just doing her listings and just had a few homes worth of furniture. Then it was our team's listings. Now she does it for other agents as well.
Perfect. I apologize. I should have caught on that a little bit better. Now, did you each to start building, because you said 30 potential homes could be staged. Did your team, do you start funneling money towards this project? And are you looking for are you cruising marketplace to find potential?
Yes.
Okay.
Marketplace. Yes. Marketplace.
Yes. That's a great tip though, because that's kind of what I was wondering. So you go there and it's already off the price, right? From what they got it at. Are you looking for particular brands? Because I feel like Costco maintains, IKEA actually does too, but my experience with Costco and IKEA, no? Wow, okay.
Not no to IKEA. We're not looking for particular brands.
Oh, okay.
We're looking for a particular look. We do a lot of coastal, beachy, oceanfront, but then we've got farmhouses in Suffolk and farmhouses in North Carolina. We do North Carolina as well. Now Deb is staging a big home in Williamsburg and Colonial Williamsburg. So we're just looking for specific looks for specific style homes that we go into, not necessarily a brand or anything, just something that will match and look good with each home. If we're lacking a specific piece needed, we'll go on Marketplace. What did we do before Marketplace? I don't know.
I don't know.
We got it. Yes.
I'm laughing because a lot of folks know I've started a new podcast, Realtors of the Evergreen State, because I'm from Washington and I've been visiting my family more now. So I've been going back and forth, and I am literally my computer is on a Versa desk piece that lifts up and down that I got off Marketplace a couple days ago for $100. So I mean, I use it all the time. I sell stuff on there all the time. So it works out great.
It's the best.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little creepy.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah. The area where I
We
got
go
this.
together.
Yeah, that's right.
Like,
That's right.
or Deb will call. She'll be like, "Hey, I'm picking this table up on Marketplace. I'm gonna leave the phone off the hook. Here's the address I'm at. I'm sharing my location."
Right.
So
Exactly.
that
Make sure
part
you're
is
safe.
a little weird. All of real estate is a little weird. Meeting strangers at homes, open houses. So you do have to be very careful, and that's why being a team is great, because we never do open houses alone, and we're marketplace buddies.
Yeah, I love it. Now, when you're listing a house, and we're kind of merging our two segments a little bit together, because we have, when you first started, you start really doing the listing. How do you? I'm curious, like, how does staging go, and like price points? Obviously, not to give all the secrets away, but just how does that work? Like when you're going,
Every price point benefits from home staging.
right?
$100,000, $1 million. A staged home is better than an empty home. It's likely to appraise for more and to have multiple offers and sell for more and sell quicker. Every house. A
Interesting.
staged home is better than an empty home in every price range.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
And so when you're going in to do the staging, do you have almost like do you have a brochure slash flip book of like, this is what's going to
Oh,
be
no.
going in here?
No, no. Every house is different, and we actually take creative control over that. And I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but like if we were staging your, let's say you have a rental property that's empty and you want to sell it, and you say, "Courtney, I don't like this couch you put in there." I would say, "Tanner, it doesn't matter if you like it,
Right.
because you don't live there, and we're staging it to sell it." And so that is actually one thing we put, is we have creative control over what goes in there. It's not about your opinion and what you like and don't like, because the goal is to get top value, to sell it quickly for the most amount of money. So no, everything is based on that house. And again, we may not even have it in a flip book. If we need the perfect piece and we don't have it, we're going to go buy it. We're not
Yeah.
cheap. We're not lazy. We're going to go get it. So it wouldn't even be in a flip book. We're buying stuff for every house.
Do you here?
Something for every house.
Do you end up selling some of this stuff, like for the buyers come in and they're like, "Hey, we really liked the couch and the this, that, and the other," and you're like, "Okay, $1,000 to the agent or whatever."
We try not to do that, because even though we're able to pick up the pieces very inexpensive, and we could turn around and sell them and make a profit, time is money. And going to the places and buying it and finding it on Marketplace, I mean, we're finding really unique, cool things that we may never be able to find again.
Yeah.
So we will sell it if people are crying and begging us for something. We will sell it. But we really try not to, because we're holding out for one of a kind pieces at a great price. And you just don't know when that'll ever happen again, if it'll ever happen again.
That's really a good point, because I hadn't thought about that until you kind of mentioned it. But it's really like, yes, I may get a piece off Marketplace that retailed for $700 back in the day, and I just paid $100. But
Right.
to find that, to
Right.
get there, to
Right.
negotiate with whoever it was,
Right.
and now you're like, yes, I got a great deal to
Right.
have this to be able to put somewhere, but there was a lot more that went into it. Time, effort, and
That's
energy
right.
is so. I
And
got you
more
now.
than that, too, is we're looking for things that are lightweight, things that are
Ah,
beautiful, look expensive, one of a kind, and lightweight. So to find all of that again would be difficult. But we're not dream killers, we're dream makers. So
right.
if somebody just cannot live without something, we're negotiable, but that's not why we do it. To
Yeah.
make money from reselling staged items is not why we're in the game.
What's been the biggest surprise? I'm just very fascinated on the staging part, as you can tell. What's been like the biggest surprise in staging houses? Whether like when you're getting stuff to somebody's house, is there like unique insurance you had to get? Did you guys end up hiring a crew? Do you have a crew that I mean, I assume you have either a regular contractor that comes and moves and gets the stuff in and out, or did you end up hiring somebody? How did that evolve?
Yes, we use the same moving company every time to move in and out of our homes. And so
Okay.
they're professional, and they're careful and they know what they're doing and they're not going to nick up the walls or mess anything up. They're professionals and they work with us time and time again, so they know how we like it and what we like, and they're great to work with.
That's awesome. And has that been a long-term relationship for you guys?
It's been a couple years, yeah.
I mean, I would think from a moving company standpoint, especially if it's not too heavy of furniture, and it's, I assume most of the stuff is really local moves, well, outside of the Williamsburg
Mm-hmm.
jaunts every now and then, but
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, it's within a defined area, and you always have work coming in and out. I mean, I think that's awesome. Here's a question for you. So let's say you take a listing and it's a rental property that got the paint touched up, and now we need to stage it because the renters are out and all those other things. When the property goes under contract, do you then take the furniture out, or does the furniture stay until day before settlement, or like what's the time frame on that?
We try to remove the furniture right before or right after the walkthrough, as close to the end as we can possibly do it, because as you know, anything can happen and it ain't over till it's over. So we try to, till the very last minute, leave the furniture in.
I think okay, so that really makes a lot of sense. I didn't know if it was like, all right, well, we got this one's going to the next house, tomorrow. So we got a contract and now we're leaving and we're taking this with us. This is going to the next one. But that does make sense though, because when they're doing the walkthrough, they want to see it relatively in the same
Right.
what they just left for the home
Right.
inspection and those things. Okay, that makes sense. I just find that part so very interesting. And tell me about your warehouse like evolution. Do you have a warehouse now that is so large that you can go for another 30, or have you guys just kind of been like, well, we started with this one and then we went to that one? How did that go?
Yeah, well, it starts off as, one storage shed, then two storage sheds, then three storage sheds, then four storage sheds, then the biggest thing they have at the storage place. So, and then, the market could change and we could have to sell it all. Maybe we
Yeah.
would sell it all on marketplace. And that's the beauty of storage sheds is they're only month to month.
Yeah.
So you're not in a long lease or anything like that. So yeah, it's all just really been very natural, very with the flow. Like I said, Deb Mundi is in charge of the staging. She does a fabulous job. She has taken listings that other realtors could not sell on busy roads, places with co-op fees of $1,500 a month, all kinds of homes that no other agent could sell. She staged them for our team and they've sold. So it's been great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, as your career has kind of gone on and you've become more and more established in the Virginia Beach area, and when are you big on, how are you staying in front of your past clients?
I do mailers every month, just listed, just sold. I have a couple client events every year. I call my clients. I'm friends with most of my clients. I do a paddleboarding event every week in the summer, and everyone's invited, not just my past clients, realtor, anyone can come, and we call it paddleboard Noga, which means we do not do yoga on our paddleboard. But we do that every Monday all summer long. I meet so many people from that and stay in touch with so many of my clients from that event.
How do you get the paddle boards out there? Are you bringing them? Like, so do you
Oh,
have in your garage 100 paddle boards? What do you
no,
got?
I work with Tony Polino of VB Surf Sessions,
Okay.
and he brings out the paddleboard. So if you have a paddleboard, it's free. And if you need to rent one, he just charges $27. So it's super affordable. We sell out of paddleboards every week, and it's been great. And you can also come in a kayak or any sort of, what do you call it, personal watercraft, something without a motor. You're welcome. But yeah, it's been great.
Where do you float around to?
Yeah,
How do you coordinate with your clients as you're like on your paddleboard?
we launched from the Owls Creek Public Boat Launch, which
Okay.
is next to the Virginia Aquarium. And like I said, that's every Monday at 6 p.m. We usually start in June and go all the way June, July, August, September. So 4 months until October. Even when it gets really warm in May, my phone starts blowing up and people are like, hey, when are we paddleboarding? I'm like, look, I know the air is warm, but the water's not.
Right.
So we really wait until June to do that every year. And then we get 4 beautiful months of paddleboard yoga. It's great.
Now, so give us a head count just on an average Monday. How many people are going to be there?
30 people.
30 people paddleboarding with you that you coordinated and made this, who are then telling friends and family that if you're thinking about selling a house, you need to reach out to Courtney. She's right next to me on the paddleboard right here, so
Yeah.
that's awesome. What a great way to really start building a brand and an audience. And then I also like too that as you kind of probably, and maybe I'm wrong, but you probably get a little burned out as you're heading towards the end of the summer and you're like, all right.
Yes.
So then it ends and then you
Yeah.
can get
Yes.
back in the group.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love that. That's super
I
smart.
don't really get burned out, but if you ever want to go out of town or anything, people get upset when you don't have paddleboard yoga. And, it's 4 months and probably once a month I'm not able to have it. So yeah, people don't like that week.
Do you, here's a question for you then. Do you have a Facebook group for your paddleboard
I
yoga?
do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many ballpark people on your Facebook paddleboard yoga group?
734.
What?
Yes.
What?
Well, it's
Holy.
by invite only. You have to come or know someone to come. But yes, I mean, I'm sure it could be way bigger, but yes, 734. And almost every single one of them has been at some point. We've done this since COVID started, actually before COVID, 3 years, almost 8 years now. This will be our 8th year.
Oh, I mean, that's such a great tip. And I always think that one of the easiest, not easiest, but one of the ways people should look to get business is create their own group, their own, or
Yeah.
really get really involved in another. And you have to find something you're passionate about. So when you came up with this idea, like, are you, walk me through this. You're like, all right, I'm going to invite Tanner and 2 other people and, we're going to go paddleboarding. And then it's just suddenly the next thing you know, there's like 30 people in your group. Tell me, how did that go?
No, there was actually this young lady who did yoga pop-up events, and her events were really great and big, and they were at different locations and super fun. And I don't drink alcohol, so events like that are really appealing to me. And so one day I said, hey, we should do a paddleboard yoga event, and my friend will bring the paddle boards and you bring the yoga, and let's do it together. And her and I started doing it together 8 years ago. And then COVID happened, and I just really felt like I wanted to do it for free for people, because people were losing their jobs and losing their businesses, and it was awful, and everyone was fighting. And I was like, you know what? I just want to give back to the community now. And so Tony Polino with VB Surf Sessions, the $27 just covers his cost. He doesn't make any money from it. If you have your own paddleboard, it's free. I don't make any money from it, but it's a great way to give back. And then, of course, on accident, I've been getting business from it. A girl, Kelly, from my group just today, just texted me right before this. Hey, so-and-so's coming into town. He wants to buy a house. Can you help him? Is it okay if I give him your number? I'm like, yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Is that not a problem? Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, those are 2 great ideas. We've really touched on the scaling of being able to stage the homes, and then also how you've kind of created your own group to get clients. So that really kind of addressed like how your continued, support and growth is going on. So Courtney, that's awesome. All right. When we come back, I want to hear some great stories from 20 years plus in the real estate in Virginia Beach. So we'll be right back with Courtney. Well, welcome back, everyone. So Courtney, I just so fascinated by both of the things that you've built and put together, and ways that you are getting new clients. I love it. Now let's go over, for this segment, we're going to go over the best piece of advice you've gotten for real estate. Could have been a day ago, could have been when you got in the business, whatever you think the best piece of advice you got was.
The best piece of advice someone has given me.
Yes, personal
would
advice.
be my grandmother said,
Okay.
Kid, buy as much real estate as they'll let you buy. If they'll let you borrow $1 million, use it all. They'll let you, whatever they'll give you, take it, use it, and buy real estate.
Love it.
And so I've always done that. I mean, if a bank's going to give me money, I'm going to take it. I'm going to buy real estate with it, and I'm going to hold it until my advice, I think the best real estate advice I could give is you don't sell anything unless you have to. So that means if you're moving out of state and you say, I just don't want to be bothered with managing a rental. That's not that you have to. You don't have to do it. So if you don't have to sell it, keep it, hold it, watch it appreciate, sit back and watch your money grow. So I
I
think
love
that's
it. Yep.
the best advice I've been given. Buy as much as you can, as much as they'll let you. And then my best advice, don't sell it unless you have to.
I love it. All right. Personal quote, favorite motto, something that you go with. If I've asked for like your essence.
Definitely do unto others. Super simple. And that's not just humans, that's animals, humans, the environment. If you don't want it done to you, don't do it to others. And so I'm a very passionate animal rights activist and human rights activist. And I don't want you killing me and eating me, Tanner. So I am not going to kill you and eat you. I don't want you selling me a crappy house, so I'm not going to sell you a crappy house. I don't want you littering in my yard, so I'm not going to litter in your yard. So just super simple, do unto others. If you don't want it done to you, don't do it to someone else.
I can get on board with all of those, so that's awesome. All right. Let's see. Number 3, a bold move that you made to get a transaction that you would not have gotten. If you had not done X, you would not have gotten Y. So something you did that at the time you were like, should I do this? And then you powered through that and it turned out to work out great in your favor.
Well, I don't know that I can talk about that on camera.
Okay.
But I have had a couple of those. Yeah, I don't know that I can share those.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That will be the listeners will have to, they will go where they will go with their imagination.
But I'll say the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward.
Yeah.
So I've taken some really big risks
that have worked out, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So my last one for you is your best story. And I always frame it for people like this. You are sitting on a beach in 30 years and somebody asks you for your very best real estate story. You've sold thousands of homes, you've helped thousands of clients, but out of those, something weird, unique, different, funny, scary happened. And you go, oh, this is the one.
Oh, gosh. Oh, I have so many, but I mean, one of my most recent favorite stories was a young man who was getting deployed. He was like 23 and he wanted me to sell his house and he was going to break even.
Okay.
And I said, no, you need to keep this as a rental. Let me manage it. 3 years later, he sold it and made $100,000.
Holy cow.
And
that
so
is
for
awesome.
a young man in his 20s, that's enough to change his life.
Yeah.
And then I've managed a haunted house before where I had to find new tenants every 6 months.
Okay, now we got to talk about that one. So lay this, let's give people the overview. So where's the property?
So the property's in Virginia Beach, and I actually begged, it was my friend who bought it, and I begged him not to buy it because I can't even tell, like now I just have goosebumps and the hair on the back of my neck is standing up just talking about it. But when I showed him the house, I couldn't even look at the whole house. I didn't even go in the back part because it felt so weird. Well, he was a Navy SEAL. He felt nothing. He's been in crazy situations and that he was like, it's great. Feels wonderful. Write it up. I'm like, no. So he buys this house. He lives there for years. He's fine. Never has any problems. Well, then he gets a girlfriend and she moves here from California. Within 6 months, he's calling me, hey, we got to go. She hates the house. She thinks it's haunted. You were right. I'm like, I told you. So what would happen was this ghost or this being was obsessed with laundry. So, you would take your clothes out of the dryer and you'd be folding them and then maybe get sidetracked and go in another room or, it might take a while to fold one load of clothes.
It's still in the hamper or whatever. You pull it out of the dryer. Okay, I'm with you.
So this this ghost or being, if you didn't finish folding the clothes and you left the room, you would come back in the room and everything would be thrown everywhere and the laundry would no longer be folded. And so I think that happened like 2 or 3 times and she was done. But they didn't have enough money in it to sell it. Now that's one, maybe you want to sell that. You probably don't want to keep that as a rental, but he didn't have the money to sell it. So we rented it, and every 6 months, whoever moved in would want out of the lease, and I'd say, no problem. And
Now, did they give the reason? Are they like, yeah, we
no,
just
most
don't
of
like
them
the
didn't.
house, but they
Yeah.
didn't want to say it?
Right.
They just random people who would have stayed in the house year, 2 year, whatever, and they're calling you at 6 months when they can basically get out, and they're like, yeah, we're out.
Yeah, and I managed it for probably 10 years. There were some people who did not call me. Other military people, it didn't bother. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
So
It didn't
interesting.
bother everyone, but most people who lived there did not stay long.
So interesting. So you're saying either the ghost was a fellow special forces individual potentially, or maybe just military patriotic in general. And he's like, I like these people. And then the other ones, he's like, get me some more military people. I'm gonna go knock over this laundry on the floor randomly.
I actually hadn't thought about it like that. I had thought about it like they were in the military and had seen crazier things and just didn't feel. I hadn't thought about it like that.
It could be one or the other. You never know.
Yes, I tried not to think about it much.
I can imagine. I mean, that is really crazy though, because I can picture that if the first time the laundry basket or whatever the laundry's in falls on the floor, you're like, that's weird. Something, it's like, all right, let me pick that up. And then you do it again and you're like, I set this far away from the edge. Oh yeah, that would be very alarming to me. So yes, that would get me going for sure. I'd be calling you. I'd be like, Courtney, I can't tell you why, but I do need to break this lease.
And that was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine.
And you're like, I know why. Don't worry. Is your laundry on the ceiling again? That's right. Well, Courtney, I can't thank you enough for coming on the podcast. What an awesome story. It's been such a pleasure chatting with you. And I look forward to just watching where the journey goes from here. Thank you for taking the time.